Well, welcome once again to the Legion of Reason diversion, coming to you from Calgary, Canada. It is, what is it? It's October 8th. It's Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving holiday, and we had lots of turkey, and I'm going to get totally sick of turkey, I'm sure. And just in time for Christmas. Actually, we do Christmas ham, so that's a bit of a change. Duck, yeah, turducken. I'd like to try turducken sometime. Anyway, it is this is episode 242, and we're going to have a bunch more Catholic watch stuff. Francis isn't popular amongst the faithful as he once was, and is slipping in the polls. Not like the polls actually matter in Catholicism, but it might have something to do with some of the things that he said recently, though, such as that he tells the faithful to not judge how decades-old cases of pedophilia were handled by bishops. As if that apparently was okay back then. It was a different time, and everybody was hiding pedophile priests. I mean, you just had to look between the seat cushions and you'd find them. And then he pleads with the faithful to pray for the church to keep Satan at bay, because the devil made them do it. Right. Yeah. And then, of course, he implores the faithful to not leave Catholicism, because most priests are actually great. Okay. In something called, I don't know, I couldn't think of a better name for this. I know there's a joke in this, and I want to make it, so I haven't made an animation, a stinger, but I call it Quackers for right now. David Stephan is preparing for his upcoming retrial for allowing his son Ezekiel to die by playing, basically his son died from meningitis, but he's playing journalist by covering the trial of Jennifer and Jeromie Clark, who are charged with criminal negligence and failing to provide the necessaries of life for their 14-month-old son John, who died as a result of a staph infection and malnutrition. So he stands for truth, justice, and the quackery way, as I said. I wonder if the Clarks were buyers of his supplements. Yeah. You never know. It probably was, but I mean, he's. I'll talk about it in a bit. In the regressive left files, attendees of the University of Manchester Students' Union functions will be banned from making audible applause in favor of jazz hands. And this is not from The Onion. This is real. Anyway. And recently, it was discovered that James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose, and Peter Boghossian struck once again and basically took the Sokol hoax and injected it full of steroids. They wrote 20 absurd papers and sent them to prominent journals in the fields of grievance studies, and 7 of them so far, and it's not a final tally, 7 of them have been accepted. And some of them are, well, they're all quite ridiculous, but some, you just got to shake your head at it. And we're going to talk about the fallout from that a little bit. But anyway, so here we are again. How was your weekend? You're still, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. Yep. That's still a thing? Huh. Okay. Other than don't go there to skydive. As Been a few deaths out there. Not recently, but there has been. Oh, Catholic Watch. Yeah, shall we just... I'm looking for Christine. I don't see her. Let me know if she appears on Skype. Yeah, sure. So that's why there's only two people up there. So anyway, I'm gonna let's go to Catholic Watch. Yeah, it's time for Catholic Watch again. I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving. So the Pope. This is one of the other things. Let's go to this one. I'll show it on the feed here. There it is. Pope says youth are scandalized by Catholic Church's monstrous abuse crisis. Just the youth? Is it just the youth? Like, what do you say to that? I mean, it's like, really? Just the youth are scandalized. I don't know. This is at some. He was speaking to a bunch of young people, young Catholics. Shouldn't call them people, right? And he was. This was actually not for that. He was on a papal flight home from the Baltics, and he was answering reporters' questions for a little under an hour. He was meeting with young people in Tallinn, Estonia, where he also acknowledged the church's abuse scandal and said that church leaders need to be converted to address young people's concerns. I don't know. I thought they were already converted. Young people are scandalized by the hypocrisy of older people, Francis told journalists on Tuesday. They are scandalized by war. They are scandalized by incongruity. They are scandalized by corruption, and as part of this corruption, sexual abuse. Yeah, I think it's not just young people. I don't think you should be denigrating older people because they're pretty pissed off too. But again, why are there still Catholics? Why do you still go? Yeah, how much? What does the church have to do to? I mean, it's like they're trying to get rid of everybody, drive them away from the church, and what do they have to do? Do they have to start murdering again? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Not these Catholics. In old times, things were covered up, he said. They were also covered up also in the homes when the uncle raped the little niece or the father raped his children. They were covered up because the shame was very big. Yeah. And apparently covering up was the thing to do back then, not report it. And I don't care what other people are doing. They aren't doing it because they have access. Well, they are doing it because they have access to somebody's kids. But they're in a position, they're familial most of the time, and they're not in a position of authority over people that parents have entrusted, to their care. Yeah. Oh, it is how people thought in the last century, Francis continued. That the last century, I guess, being the 20th century, where we grew up in. Because that was so long ago, and it wasn't wrong back then. There is a principle that helps me a lot to interpret history. An historic event must be interpreted with the hermeneutics of that time, not with the hermeneutics of today. It was a crime back then too, Francis. Jeez. It was. That's why they hid the crimes, because they knew it was wrong. So, but yeah, this is just apologetics for child rape. And so he's talking about the Pennsylvania grand jury report, and he says, look at the report and you will see that when the church began to become aware of this, then we gave it our all to stop it. Oh, barf, you did not. You got caught. Yeah. And in recent times I have received many, many guilty verdicts from the congregation for the doctrine of the faith, and I have said, go ahead, but never ever did I sign a pardon request after a guilty verdict. I'm not so sure about that. There weren't very many. And what was the punishment? House arrest? Oh, big deal. Or to, what was it? It was a life of penance and prayer. Aye. That's not... Yeah, exactly. One doesn't negotiate on this. There is no negotiation. Except for when it comes to hiding church funds and stuff like that from victims compensation. And let's see, did bishops and priests know that raping children was a criminal act? Because I don't think that standard has changed. No kidding, Francis. It's been part of the criminal law for a very long time, said Peter Isley of the group End Clergy Abuse. And apparently he got no answer from that. How can you compare a global institution that has been around for centuries with laws and a hierarchy to what happens in some family? I guess, it's referring to the uncle thing. A father or uncle is not the same as a bishop in charge of a diocese. In fact, the bishop is supposed to do something about it. That's the part of the trust, right? Then go ahead. Well, he's saying that the comparison of abuse in families and abuse by the church, are somehow the same, and they're not. The church is an authority, and higher up in the authority, as a parent would be like, yeah, you're out of here. Whereas the bishops just hid the crimes. And he continues on here. A father or uncle is not the same as a bishop in charge of a diocese. It seems to be a way of the church, again, avoiding responsibility. Very true. I think that's exactly right. I think that's exactly what they're doing. And it even gets stupider. Right here. Pope Francis says, pray the rosary daily for church's protection from Satan, because, the devil made them do it, right? Sure. There was a bishop, St. Louis, who was questioned about this, and he said he didn't know that molesting a child was a crime. He actually said this on camera, on the record. Unbelievable. I don't know. It was just something. It was like that Cardinal Pell moment when he basically admitted he knew about a particular priest, and you could hear the gasps, and it was just one of those wow moments of. The church could do no wrong, basically. It's this concept of that, so they can't be seen to be doing wrong. I think he knew. I think that... how can you not know? No. You can kill them. It says you can kill them if they're unruly. That's biblical, and you can offer them up for gang raping, that was that Job or Lot? No, it was Lot. Yeah, Lot's daughters. Here, do not molest this guest of mine. Here, have my daughters instead. Wow, Father of the Year. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's he's not going to earn any Father of the Year awards from maybe from Woody Allen, but anyway. Let's moving on. Yep. I don't know how they got. Well, if they haven't left by now, they're not going to. So it doesn't matter what they do. I think it's going to take government action at some point. I mean, imagine if this were a corporation. Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, they're always playing the victim. The original victimhood culture is religion. Yeah, imagine if this were a corporation and this was happening. Sorry? Missed that. Yeah, Yeah, I just imagine if this was a corporation and how long, what would happen if this was going on in the private sector. I mean, what would happen? It'd be massive investigations. I really do think it falls under RICO statutes in the U.S. Or criminal organized crime laws in Canada. Why aren't we seeing this? It's not fair to the victims that they don't get real justice. It's just anyway. The devil made them do it. Yeah. So on the 29th of September, there was a statement from the Vatican said that Pope Francis had recently affirmed that prayer is the weapon against the great accuser who goes around the world seeking to accuse. That's why that's why they call him the accuser. Yeah, they're just making excuses and not taking responsibility. Only prayer, though, can defeat him, the great accuser, who runs around accusing people. Hey, he goes on. The Russian mystics and the great saints of all the traditions advised in moments of spiritual turbulence. Yeah, that's what this is. This is not crime or anything. To shelter beneath the mantle of the Holy Mother of God. What a word salad. The statement also encouraged the prayer of sub tuum praesidium. We fly to thy protection, O Holy Mother of God. Do not despise our petitions and our necessities. This is a bunch of drivel. Prayer does nothing. Nothing fails like prayer. Okay? But the great accuser is kind of like the great pumpkin. Remember the Simpsons? Or not Simpsons, Peanuts. Linus was... Yeah. Totally. I don't know. What else do we got from Catholic? Oh, church's problems are created by winds of scandal by its own members, Pope says. Well, see, which is it? Is it the great accuser? Yeah, is it the great accuser or is it actually priests? When the church is hit by opposing and violent winds, I got to admit, these guys are a bunch of windbags. Especially because of grave sins committed by some of its members. So he actually kind of admits it here. Catholics should not forget the humble daily fidelity of the vast majority of those who have given their lives to the church as priests. Yeah. And you know, like, it's like, hey, most priests, they're nice guys, you know, yeah, okay. Oh, there, sorry, yeah, there we go, yeah. Oh, screw the family. Fiddling. I think it's fiddly. What is it? Was it 40? Yeah, 40% of priests are married in the world. Catholic, yeah, it's a very high number. They're secretly married, of course, because they'd be thrown out of, yeah. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the pedophilia. That's a totally different thing. Yeah, it's one of the commandments. Yeah. Yep. What else did he say? That we've already, I'll just give you a recap. We covered the Pope saying that don't judge decades old cases of pedophilia and how they were handled by modern standard, which is just, it was the same standard back then, and and he's also, that's true. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, the devil. We covered the devil. Yeah, the Pope is saying that, and here is, don't judge the church by a few priests, a few bad priests. He says, we know that, yeah, yeah. He says, we know that responding to the call of the Lord, we were not consecrated with the gift of the Spirit to be superheroes. We were sent. Yeah, no kidding. The child unmolester. That's. We were sent with the awareness of being men who are forgiven. I'm not forgiving you. And called to become pastors in the way Jesus was, injured, dead, and risen. Word solid. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah. It's the turkey. It's the turkey talking. What else do we got? It is. They're not responsible. And so in the New York Times, Pope Francis, once soaring popularity has dropped dramatically, new poll says. Like I say, because polls, matter so much in the Vatican. Yeah, so a poll released on last Tuesday, a week ago last Tuesday, something like that, shows that only 51% of Americans now rate him favorably, a fall of 19 percentage points since January 2017. Fortunately, he doesn't have an opponent. Like, who cares? I mean, I'm for the dissolution of the Catholic Church. I think it needs to be completely dissolved. Done with. Francis has retained the support of 7 in 10 American Catholics, but that's dropped from about 8 in 10 since January of this year. And they go on to talk about now only 31% of American Catholics rate Francis's handling of the church's long-running sex abuse scandal as good or excellent, down from 54% in February of 2014. That was about 1 year into his papacy. And this is all from Pew Research. I love Pew Research. I'd love to work for Pew Research. You guys got a job opening, I'll take it. They do some really good work. I don't think this is going to have any effect in the Vatican. I know there's a revolt going on with that one detractor, Cardinal. I don't know, I want to say Vitiligo, but it's something like that. It starts with a V. He was talking about the Pope and knew about certain things, and that there is some interesting. Oops, that's wrong. That's for later. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about this one too. Yeah, this is the sex abuse of deaf orphans in Pope Francis' backyard. Okay, so this is from the Daily Beast, and they talked to a victim in a school for the deaf. They give him the name Giuseppe. He said when he was 11, a monk who worked at the institute as an educator started teaching special secret signs for things like masturbation, fellatio, penis, and anus. He said, I didn't understand at first just why this man was teaching me these strange secret signs. Then one day it became very clear when one of the priests made the secret sign for fellatio when we were alone, which was followed by him pushing his erect penis into my mouth. Yeah. From that point on, Giuseppe said, through his interpreter, often using fast and somewhat violent sign language as tears ran down his face, priests and the brothers would give a sign to the young boys and then take them to special rooms, Giuseppe says, were used for timeout punishments or as resting areas. He said that because everyone was deaf at the school except for those who worked there, no one could hear the screams and cries of the young boys when the abuse took place. Giuseppe said that on several occasions he and others tried to write down what was happening, but because their letters and notes were given to the priests and brothers to be mailed out, they were likely intercepted. Of course they were. And even if they got out, would anything have been done? It's only hearing me. Oh, you know what? That might very well be true. Should I say something? Oh, yeah. There's something going on here. What's going on here? Let us take a look at the settings. And I will... Where is it? 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 Come on. Well, this is the wrong microphone, first of all. Okay. Yeah, okay, say some... no, you're not. We're good. Okay, say something, Twala. Sorry, again? Oh, okay, no, you're still not coming through. Neither one of you. Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. Oh, okay, I'm frozen here. Oh, I've got a problem here. I'm frozen completely here. Maybe. Yeah, my mouse isn't working. Nor is my... Okay, I may have no choice but to reboot the hard way too. Damn it. Yep, I'm gonna have to cold boot this. Alright, I'll be back in a second.